Fordola, have you been waiting here all this time?
Of course. They had a good time. Well, not a good time, but they had a time together. He saved her.
We have done what we can. The rest is up to him.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing him back. He owes you his life. I just wish I had been there. Perhaps, I don't know. Perhaps I could have...
Oh.
Could have what? Got tempered? Don't flatter yourself. You can't save everyone. No one can. Not even the warrior of bloody light.
That's true. The pomp has its
People
limits.
die all the time, for no good reason. And those who take up the sword die quicker than most.
Okay, well, she's very, you know, just kind of pragmatic about these things, but she's stating the much needed facts. True, but there's also room for some, you know, finesse here. There's a time for
If
both.
you're going to shed a tear every time a soldier falls on the battlefield, you'd best stay away. It's no place for the weak of heart.
Because ironically, right, like, you know, the warrior of light, the way they've done things is by, you know, creating those connections and caring for people and not just thinking of people as, you know, soldiers on the battlefield, pawns, right? They're pieces, right? There's a little more that goes into it. So, you know, each their own.
It may be that victory cannot be won without cost.
Speech.
But all life is precious, and I refuse to shrug at its loss.
There's the alpha note, I know.
Life is precious. Oh, you need to grow up, little man. Before your sparkling ideals get everyone killed.
Hey, you can't knock Alpha Note. Alpha Note's been through some shit, right? He's fought a lot, okay? Probably more than you. More than you, 100%.
You're right. He is idealistic. But the world has more than its fair share of realists, like you and me.
Yeah, Astinia would know, right? Remember the old Astinian?
It's people like him who dare to dream that things could be better and make it happen against all the odds. They are the ones whose names live on forever. The heroes.
I love
The
Astinian.
battlefield's littered with would-be heroes. At this rate, you lot'll be next. And what'll become of your precious dreams then? They'll be gone. Like dust on the wind.
You can hear that she's upset though. Yeah, she's a big softie. Fordola is always upset because Fordola is always a big softie. Like upset and concerned. She's not like, wow, you dumb go die. True.
Don't die so easily.
True to you too, Astinian. It's like a defense mechanism, right? If you pretend like you don't care, so you know you don't have to feel the pain, right? Oh, this is the fragrance chamber. It's where they have like their syndicate meetings and everything. We've been here many times.
Your Grace, pray forgive us our lateness.
Could be called a fragrance chamber because they hold a lot of parties and stuff here, right? Lots of foods, lots of good smelling fragrances.
Think not of that. I understand a close comrade of yours was wounded in the line of duty. Arenvold.
Yes.
It was at the Alliance's behest that he risked all, and we are grieved to hear of his condition. Rest assured, he will receive the finest care our Chimichangas
Chimichangas.
can provide. On that you have my word. Now, we would share with you the findings of the mission.
Okay, but there aren't enough chairs for all of us.
Pippin, pray relate to our guests the details of Fordola's account.
I still want to see this dude fight in a cutscene. Can we please get that?
First Bahamut, now Ifrit. Or Lunar Ifrit, as Fandaniel would doubtless have it.
'Tis now all but certain that the towers were conceived to facilitate the summoning of primals by those imprisoned within.
I'm trying to just imagine the lunar versions of all the other primals. That would be something.
Less certain is the means by which the Telophoroi constrain the wills of said entities to enact their designs in defiance of the pleas of their victims.
Are they taking like I don't know. You can imagine a lot of the Amalja in there were already tempered. Are they like taking that temperance and like transferring to temperance?
Mayhap they do not. If mere proximity to the towers is enough to make loyal servants of the Empire's mortal enemies, it stands to reason that the same is true for those held captive. They invoke their gods for the good of Garlemald, and in their disturbed state of mind, summon a primal whose form reflects their own alteration.
Always leave it up to Y'shtola to explain things like super clearly, right? Thank you.
It all begins to make sense. Upon closer inspection, I realized that the towers bear a striking resemblance to a much larger structure which Urianger and I observed from afar during our visit to the Imperial capital. Assuming it too is capable of tempering those in its immediate vicinity, it would go some way to explain the swiftness with which the Telophoroi managed to rally so many Imperials to their cause.
5G towers. Maddie called it.
The situation in Garlemald is indeed troubling. I fear we have more immediate concerns. Ifrit was not the only primal summoned. At approximately the same time, observers at several other towers bore witness to the emergence of further such entities.
I hope, oh man, it'd be so cool if the next patch was like, alright, first quest, go fight, you know, Lunar Ifrit. Next quest, go fight Lunar Garuda. Next one, go fight Lunar, dude with beard. What's his name? Ramu. Like, that'd be cool.
For a blessing, none appear to wield aught approaching the destructive power of Bahamut, and the Grand Companies are moving to deal with the threat even as we speak.
That was something I was gonna say though. Like, we just dealt with Lunar Bahamut, right? A Lunar Ifrit, hey, it's, you know, it'd be like an appetizer. Bahamut's like the main course, right? It's fine.
Though we are aware that the task will not be easy, we would call upon the Scions only as a last resort. Pray, conserve your strength for now. After all, it was not so very long ago that you rid us of Bahamut. On which note, I am pleased to report that our talks with the Amalja have reached an agreeable conclusion. They have pledged their full support to our cause.
I always like the triumphant music. It makes the dire situation seem very hopeful, right?
It is our hope that this historic agreement will encourage other tribes to join us at the negotiating table. And I know that I speak for all of the Allied leaders when I say that we will welcome them with open arms at such time as they do. Of course, this was only made possible by the feats of heroism performed at paglth'an. Moreover, we shall not allow the sacrifices of those fallen in battle to have been made in vain. As hope leads to victory, shall victory lead to a new dawn for Eorzea.
Nanumo has, she's kind of, you know, coming to her own here, right? He's just like confidently, you know, telling everyone what's going on and then giving hope and stuff like that. She's not questioning anything. She's like, this is what's gonna happen, okay?
May these words ever be our guide, Your Grace.
He's pro, yeah, because remember we had the whole thing in, was it Stormblood? When she found, you know, when she knew Raban wanted to retire and everything, and she was like, can I do this on my own, blah, 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 and all that. So, yeah, look at that.
Now, if you will forgive me, I must consult with the Syndicate on the matter of our new allies' integration. Till next we meet, my friends, I bid you safe travels and blessed respite.
He is more confident now, that's for sure. Man, she can't perch up on Pippin's arm, though. That's not gonna happen. She could perch up in his arms, but not just on the bicep. If the 8th Umbral Calamity happened and the Scions were, like, still around, would they, do you think we'd be called the Scions of the 8th Dawn?
But many questions remain regarding the reason for the summonings, and what lurks behind the looming edifice in Garlemald.
Yeah, well, I mean, Fandaniel's trying to fuck shit up. That's what I chalk it down to, right? Chalk it up to. They're doing moon
Until
things.
such questions are answered, we will struggle to devise an effective strategy for thwarting the Telophoroi's stated aim. Nothing less than the destruction of this star. And so, given the gravity of the situation, I move that we petition the aid of Sharlayan.
Oh, Interesting. I always kind of thought that Sharlayan too, isn't Sharlayan at this point kind of, I mean, it's not what it once was, but it's more like ragtag, like it's not as, or is it still like a big like entity?
But given
It's an entity.
established policy of non-intervention, our former colleagues are not like to aid us in its discovery.
But they're still like, they're still kind of kicking it though, some of them. I was like are they like, it'd be like if like I don't know, we're like, oh, we gotta go petition like Rome for aid, like as if Rome was still like this big like entity, the Roman Empire or something, you know what I mean? That's what I was trying to figure out.
Oh, I well remember what they're like. The Forum's barefaced refusal to assist you in the days prior to the calamity must rank as Sharlayan's most shameful act since the Exodus.
We don't know a lot about them. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sure you know more about them in Endwalker. Maybe they play a part in Endwalker. They're doing moon things. Sharlayan's on the moon. Sharlayan's going to the moon. Yeah. And they had the whole that whole Exodus thing. And Matoya, right? She was part of that. Like the whole Exodus. I kind of forget what that was all about.
Urgent as it seemed, I took the liberty of petitioning the Alliance for leave to act as Eorzea's emissary, and have since received their blessing.
I want to go. I want to meet these Sharlayan peoples.
I presume your role as a student of Baldesion will carry some weight with the Forum?
One can but hope. If truth be told, our organization has been a shadow of its former self ever since the disappearance of the Isle of Val. But the name does still retain some degree of prestige. I only pray it will be enough.
What was the whole backstory with the disappearance of their island and everything too? Was that ever explained? It's been so long, I don't remember. Do you remember? Someone nuked it. Did they know who? Like, was it just like an empire thing? Or, okay, yeah, because I don't remember the specifics. I just remember Minfilia was talking about like, oh yeah, the thing happened, and my friend is like, you know, in, you know, critical condition, friend meeting Kryl and all that. Okay, go on.
We were wondering, when was the last time Hydaelyn spoke to you directly?
It's been a while, hasn't it? I feel like it's been a very long time. Like, I feel like the last time was really like us speaking with Minfilia, if you consider that Hydaelyn. Yeah, but that's not Hydaelyn speaking to us directly.
History shows us that Hydaelyn is able to awaken the echo in her chosen, convey her will directly, and grant the blessing of light. Our knowledge, however, she has not sought to intervene in man's affairs for some considerable time.
I guess, did she speak with us near the end of the Dragon Song War? Or was that us talking with through Minfilia? You don't think it was explained in AR what happened to the island? Okay, good. So I'm not, you know, 100% forgetful then.
The explanation for that lie with her choice of champion. Mayhap she is content to trust in his judgment.
Trust in the pomp, right? Maybe. Or maybe she, ooh, who knows?
Mayhap she is. But following my initial discussion with Kryl, I made inquiries of my own. And as far as I'm able to tell, Hydaelyn has not made her will known.
That's a nice little sunflower or something they got going on there. Eureka explains more about the Isle of Val. I've been hearing about this Eureka. Didn't we talk about Eureka? You said that's like a separate zone or something?
During my time in the First, the Oracle of Light spoke to me through Reem. But that was not the will of Hydaelyn. It was Minfilia herself.
Same, yeah. We've been getting a lot of Minfilia. Separate zone, I just stepped into it yesterday. Oh.
And while she and Hydaelyn were inextricably linked, Minfilia yet acted of her own volition. A messenger, yes, but one who spoke with her own voice.
So she's saying here the times that we spoke with Minfilia, it was through Minfilia's own volition. Not Hydaelyn, you know, making her say certain things.
I wonder, could Hydaelyn's silence suggest the presence of some disruptive force, perhaps? Some obstacle to communication? While I share Urianger's high opinion of your conduct, I see no reason why she would deny you her guidance altogether.
That's actually like, this whole conversation is pretty interesting because I wonder how many people like notice, like they're going through Stormblood, going through Shadowbringers, and are like, yeah, we haven't talked to Hydaelyn like directly in a long time, right? You think Heidelin just forgot to, you know, pay her phone bill or something? Maybe that's why. But that is a good rate point, right? Because I'd never stopped to think like, man, we haven't talked to Heidelin in a while.
Believe me when I say that I take no pleasure in the thought of leaving you a member short. Now, of all times.
Which is why we are inducting Estinian into Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
Estinian, we stand on the eve of a struggle that will decide the fate of this star. One in which we Scions may play a telling part. Yet we are but few in number.
He's gonna say no.
And so I must ask you again. Will you join us?
Oh, I hope he says yes. We could hang out here all the time, buddy. He looks pissed. He looks like he wants to jump out of there. But he's gonna do it for Alfie, maybe.
You see the world the way you want it to be. I see the world the way it is. You are idealistic to a fault.
Come on, it's like big bro right here. You gotta help out little bro, right? Sad puppy face, yeah.
I know you would never turn your back on those in need. Never close your eyes to their suffering. And somehow, your deeds lend truth to your words, giving the lie to my doubts in so doing.
Oh. Oh, snap. Are we gonna get this here? Young. He's like the young to Alphino here. Young.
I have seen others draw strength from your belief. In Ishgard, in Alamigo, you inspired them to stand up and fight. To win, no less.
His lance is so cool. Look at that. Look at the color scheme. That's a cool color scheme.
Even when you lost those you held dear, you carried their spirit with you and made their memory your guiding light. The burden of so many hopes and dreams would be too heavy for most to bear.
Remember when you used to static shock me all the time? I remember that. How is that relevant to what's going on here? Oh, you just shocked yourself. That's what happened. I was like, how does that tie into this little speech here?
But you bear it willingly, as you have shown me. Some dreams are too important to let go.
Is he gonna do it? Does Alice say? Is Alice's opinion on this man changing now? Look how deep this man is.
If you have need of my strength, it's yours. After all you've done, how could I refuse?
Oh shit. We got the Estinian part of the Scions. I like it. I love it. Officially a Scion.
Whatever challenges await us, I shall not falter. You have my word.
Alright, big bro has joined. Little bro is happy. Hey, Graha, you're not the newbie anymore.
And now, I may bid you farewell. Safe in the knowledge that all is as it should be. In this little corner of the world, at least.
Alright. Look at that. He's smiling again.
You will be sorely missed. Tread warily in Sharlayan, and do try not to let the Forum embroil you in their politics. A forlorn hope, I know, given the individuals involved.
I really want to see these Sharlayan people. I'm very curious about them. We've just heard about them. I want to, Master Matoya, you know, I want to see. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace. Oh, look at all those weapons. Those are some cool looking weapons. Like, which one? It'd be cool if he went with like a mace or something. Looks like a beastly katana.
Well, does this one meet with your approval?
I wonder where all these weapons are from.
Apparently not. Or could it be that you're still upset about the dragons?
Wow, look at this collection.
You are unwise to remind me of so costly a failure.
From those he murdered, he as in Zenos or he as in Fandaniel? Because I'm assuming Fandaniel presented these for Zenos, right?
It will not affect our plans, I trust.
Disneyland plans?
Oh, hardly at all. Though, admittedly, the chances of us being able to procure any more Mericidian dragons are rather slimmer following Tiamat's reappearance.
I like his movements. He's just talking like, I'd assume Zenos. Look at that. That's true. It sounded like he was presenting something to him, though.
Sown, my lord. We have only to wait for them to quicken.
That makes sense, though.
Speaking of preparations, is it safe to assume that you will be ready to control you-know-what?
What is the you-know-what? Fandaniel wants to come on your Disneyland trip, too. Well, he's not invited. Tell you that much.
Draws nigh. This nation, forged for ASCION ends, will finally prove its worth.
Is he ready to control the you-know? What's the you-know-what? Like a
mighty empire, now no more than an instrument of this star's destruction. What a pleasure it will be to put it to use.
like an Omega type thing, a lunar Omega or something.
Which brings me back to our earlier topic. My lord, while I appreciate that it is not an easy decision, it really is past time you chose your weapon.
There are so many to choose from, though. How is one to choose?
There is one that I have been meaning to test.
I hope it's like a little wand, you know, so you can be like, pew. Which one is it gonna be?
Well, not quite what I was expecting, though I will say, it does seem rather apt.
Whose weapon was this? Who do we know who used this weapon? Oh! Come on, let me see. He pulled it like a sword, though, right? He pulled it like a sword, so it's gotta be some sort of like sword, I think, right? Right? Alright, let's talk to TATARU here. Dun dun dun. To be continued. I just want to know. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have a busy few moons. Not that they ever seem to be anything but. Anchorage's got me dispatching troops to every corner of the realm. Man, TATARU was dispatching troops. Which is not to say I don't trust the Alliance, because I do. But when it comes to putting down primals, nobody does it better than us. How many troops do we have? That's the question. Well, then you lot more accurately. You won't catch me trading blows with a primal in the near future, but for every fell fiend you vanquish, there's countless meals to arrange, baths to fill, sheets to wash, stores to replenish, and the list goes on. I can always count on TATARU here. Which is where I come in, and gladly, mind you. It's the least I can do to support the Scions who risk life and limb, like poor Arenvald. I wish there was something we could do for him, but we'll just have to settle for saying the odd prayer and keeping a roof over our heads. It wouldn't do to have him come back to complete shambles, now would it? It wouldn't. But that's enough of my rambling. Off you go and get some rest. If there are any developments, I promise you'll be the first to know. World of Darkness. Is that the end? A 5.5? Just one step closer, right? I believe that's the end.